Still nobody watching. You know, I'm sure there would be more people watching if I actually, like, maybe announced any of this. Mm. Ah. So for when it posts later, I'm just going to explain what the fuck I'm doing right now. So this is part of my countdown to Convergence. I'm not going to go daily about this until the 1st, let's say, of April. So right now, this is just sort of a thing that I'm doing. I was put in charge of making WFKU merch for what's it called? The goodie bags that people pick up when you pick up your convention badge at Convergence. So you get this little goodie bag at the like as you pick up your badge. It contains a bunch of flyers and stickers and little promotional things from bands, and in the past there have been like little one-shot comics that people have done and printed up, and I need a thing for that. Or zines in the 90s when those were a big thing. There's been a bit of a resurgence of those, I've noticed, on Etsy and Artfire, but for the most part, this, it's more out of nostalgia and displaced nostalgia for people who were too young to have been a part of that. So, like I've seen some bands at Convergence 20 in Chicago put in, just like a little card with a download code for an EP or something, or a single, and those are great. So WFKU, my station, well, not my station, I don't own it, Whiskey owns it, and so I was basically advertising liaison between WFKU and Convergence, and I recorded a jobby, a radio spot, which was like 4 seconds longer than Whiskey wanted me to make it, but I kind of had to. I clipped down all of the unnecessary information. I clipped down as much information as I could get away with, and it still was 34 seconds long, and so that was a little disappointing for Whiskey, but we've still got it on the bumper between live shows. Unfortunately, most of the weekend the station was down, which has been happening a bit lately, which is probably a big reason that we've given Convergence like the best ad deal we've ever given anybody. And so basically, what happens is when a DJ refers somebody, like a band or somebody else's Etsy shop or whatever for ad space, the DJ gets a percentage as commission for that ad space. And basically, Whiskey, just told my friend Heather, who, was working with us about the ads, hey, just send the entire ad fee to Rowan, because I'm going to have to pay him for buttons anyway. So that's what I'm doing. I am making buttons. If you are unfamiliar with what the machine looks like, let me do this. So here we've got it. There's the handle, and there's the, jobbies, and we turn it around, and we've got, let me see if I can do this. Can I do this? Yes. Maybe? Yes. Okay, so you get the side with the little clear mylars, and then the design, which is just printed out on paper. And then we've got the shells and the collets, and you flip that around, and please don't move, don't move, don't move. And there we go. And I've got the collet already on that side, so then shell, design, mylar, don't move, and there we go. And it doesn't have a back yet, or, it doesn't have the pin yet, and I usually wait until, flip. Can we flip? Can we flip? Flip back. There we go. Hello? Okay. So I usually wait until I've got, like 100 pressed or so before I add the pins, just because that way I'm in the zone. And I'm going to turn this back on. It's not like this is going to get monetized or anything.
I couldn't tell.
There we go. That's a bit better on the light. I've gotten several hate comments lately. About 4 or 5 in succession from this one person who just seems irate about my shirtlessness. And I find it entertaining. In fact, from my position, that's encouragement for me to do it, because I've got a bit of a contrarian humor to myself, and so you tell me not to do something, I'm going to do it even more, or at least I'm going to feel more inclined to do it, because, there's some asshole who doesn't want me to do it, so I'm going to do it. Why? There's nothing stopping me. Speaking of my shirtlessness, so back in, I want to say August, I'm gonna find the video and link it. I think it was August. It might have been October. For some reason I want to say August, though. I got my dermals done, and because it's such an unusual placement, and it was related to my my F to M trans male top surgery, I made a deal with my friend JC over at Pangea Piercing to, have this videoed for YouTube, and basically we did it for the cost of jewelry, which I'm pretty sure he undersold me on, but, that's alright. That's even better than I expected, so, and then what happened was, so finally, so I went back because this one, the one on the bottom, did in fact squiddle itself out, and it popped out right at the time I was going to go. I was gonna put on. I was getting up so I could put on pants. I was laying on the floor reading, and I got up to put on pants. And a shirt, so I could go to. Why won't this stay with the light? So I could go out to Lucky Monkey Tattoo and talk with Martin about getting myself a lower back tattoo. And there's some drama about, some trans-related drama for why I didn't do that earlier in my life. But, late 90s, I was a teenager, those were all the rage. But because I was, still under 18 when they were all the rage. When they started, really showing up everywhere. So I, had to put it off until I was 18, because there's no way my father was going to sign the permission slip. In fact, a lot of places in this state, won't even, accept you if your parent comes with a permission slip, because they're just like, nope, we don't want to take the risk that this is not your child. So, nope, fuck it, if you're under 18, we're not doing it. So, where was I going with this? So then, what happened was, just before I was 18, somebody was just like, those are a girl tattoo, right? And, I wasn't fully really out as somehow trans, but one of my... Oh, shit. Why is there a phone call coming? Please don't be important. No, it's not. Decline. Okay, so then what happened was, like, my friend Robin, I believe, told me that, you know, these were, you know, a girl tattoo. And Robin, let me explain, like, how, like, I don't even think Robin and I were as close as I was with some of my other friends, but he knew me, and he, like, he had a bit of a fit when I showed up to prom in a dress. It was my stepmother's prom dress from 1964. She was very insisted in living vicariously through me in certain very tiny ways. In other ways, she kind of got what the fuck that I was a weird kid, but so Robin just like, you know, that's a girl tattoo, right? And so for a bunch of years, I, you know, just decided, okay, I'm not getting that because, you know, that's a feminine tattoo. Obviously, I don't care about appearing effeminate or not anymore, so I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. You know, it's been 20 years since I first wanted one. Even after it was explained to me that, oh, this is a lady's tattoo, you know, I still kind of wanted one, but I didn't voice much interest in actually getting it. Is this too loud? It might be. Plus, I think I might actually be interested in this review a little bit more than as background noise. So then what happened was, let's see, so, the last year year and a half, actually. It was after I finally got these done, and then, you know, my other tattooist at the other place, he just, it was clear he was no longer, you know, willing to work with my budget, which, okay, I can understand. And you want to put this in the politest way possible. That's fine. I'll just find somebody else to work with. Because, you know, there's no way I can save up the kind of money you need me to, you know, right away for any one session. And, you know, unless we're spacing them several months apart. And that's not going to happen. But, you know, this time I can figure out a good way to do this. 2 sessions. So then what happens? So for the last year and a half or so, I've been sure, you know, okay, I definitely want, you know, lower back, you know, finally, it's definitely going to have some kind of wing motif. And I'm going to do another video about this, when, you know, I plan on doing a video about my tattoos. So I wanted a wing motif. I was, you know, sort of waffling back and forth, you know, do I want bat wings? Do I want something else? But I finally, like, a few months ago, I want to say, like, December, maybe January, my young man and I we're just, like, watching a big binge, because I had just figured out, oh god, I feel so stupid that it took me the longest time to figure out, since I've had the Roku since, I want to say, the previous May, and I just figured out that I could cast from my smartphone to the Roku, or from his laptop, because his laptop is equipped with that sort of thing, so I could cast it from there to my Roku. I can't believe it took me that long to figure it out, casting from YouTube. I thought I'd have to, like, you know, go into the YouTube app and set up playlists and shit, but no, I can just, like, cast it there and then, like, you know, add this to the queue, and it changed my life. But then what happened? So, we were just, like, watching this binge of, we'd watched a few binges of various, YouTube, you know, filmmakers, and I really balk at the idea of content creator. It's like, yes, you know, it's content, but anything is content. Like, what is that's such a vague term. And a lot of these people, and a lot of YouTubers, you know, some are vloggers, some are, you know, just, like, making little mini documentaries. Like, I think of, and this is where I'm getting to, is, like, we were watching a bunch of, Caitlin Doherty, Ask a Mortician. These are like little mini documentaries that she does, or like little educational films, sort of, I mean, technically documentaries are, with the intent of being educational. So we were watching a bunch of her little, educational, sort of filmmaking clips. And that's where it is filmmaker, it's not vlogging, in her case, it's like, little, educational filmmaker. And I mean, granted, she's got a crew with this. Tutorials, that's educational videos, that's educational filmmaker. Like Project Awesome, or Channel Awesome. It's Channel Awesome. This is okay, it's film reviews, but still, it's like, it's like content creator. That's so vague. That doesn't mean anything. I guess when you're talking like in the scope of YouTube, like there are different kinds of things, so you might need something more vague. But I'm getting distracted. I do this all the time. This is life on with an ADHD addled brain. Like my young man, he's made several comments about how I can never stay on topic for more than a couple minutes at a time at best, like, but it's okay, we live with it. And she's got this this little video she did about the flying death's head and the evolution of that headstone motif, and how it went from the vaguely like grotesque sort of thing to the cherubic thing that we see in the late Victorian. And I was just like, nope, that's my tattoo. That's my tattoo. I've been, I love these, little, gothic, creepy death motifs. And, so that's it. That's a classic. That's something that, I'm never going to have even the vaguest. Like, on the back of my neck, I've got a dragon sigil that I got from a Cradle of Filth album. Now I'm thinking, it looks great. It looks great. I love how it looks, but I'm just like, did I really want this on me, for the rest of my life? And it's done in heavy black. So that's not something that's going to make for an easy cover-up, is it? So, I mean, it looks good. I don't regret that. It looks good. It was done by Jeff Zuck. It's gorgeous. I'm just thinking, many years, oh god, going on 20 years after the fact, maybe it wasn't for me. But, it looks good. It's on the back of my neck, so I hardly ever see it. It's not something I have to look at daily. But this is going to be classic. This is going to be classic. It's never going to go out of style for me or for anybody. And if for some reason 20 years down the road, I'm just like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. It's like, it's going to be on my back. I'm hardly ever going to see it. So that's my advice. If you think you're going to get it, if you think there's a slight chance you might, want this tattoo to have been something different, put it on your back, because then you'll never see it. But no, that's or put it on your head. That way you could just grow your hair over it. What was I going? Oh, right. I was talking about something else. Oh, right, the piercing. So, I went to get up, and so I'm laying out, on my front, laying out on the floor reading, and I get up, and this one just kind of like, poop, and I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. So I call up at Pangea, and they say, oh, just come right down. I had to wait about 20 minutes for the bus to come back around, but that's because the Ann Arbor bus is stupid. So I came back, they came back around, the bus came back around, I went out immediately to Pangea, after that, so about a 40-minute bus ride, and it took, let's see, from me, well, first I had to wait for Pierre to, Pierre's the one who did my beauty mark here. He was the first person I was talking to. I was thinking about maybe getting a surface bar on this nipple because I lost this one after the first surgery, so it had to be reconstructed. But then I got talking to JC about it because Pierre had relocated, and then after I got this done, he came he came back, but he briefly relocated. And I got talking to JC about maybe a surface bar here, because here I was thinking, but then no, here we went with dermals instead of a surface bar, because he didn't have anything long enough, and he was afraid that because, like, while scar tissue feels fairly thick, the integrity of the skin is actually weaker than that of unscarred skin. So yeah, that might have been why, because this is like right nesting up right next to some hypertrophic tissue there. So yeah, I even said to Pierre, that if this comes back out and we end up needing to put it back somewhere, I was like gonna think, let's just pop down like the $40-45 to just put it right up there, over this one, because that way it's got a better chance of staying with us. But then what happened? So yeah, so I come in, it's about little under 10 minutes for me to even, get in line. We took a look at it real quick, for, Pierre to, stop being busy and then prep the jewelry. I mean, I still had the jewelry, so that was no big deal. And then what happened? I need more shells. And then we prepped the skin, and it took a bit of a chance. It took a bit of a try to, really get it back in there, just because, after it started concerning me, I guess the pocket just decided to, was like, fuck you. But no, we got it back in, and it's looking good. It's looking good. I'm still keeping an eye on it, because it's been less than a week after the fact. But yeah, as the skin's getting prepped, JC finally, gets a minute to come back in and see what the hell Pierre's doing. And I guess he heard I was back in. And he's like, "Oh, by the way, your video with the dermals, that's finally been demonetized on YouTube, and presumably because it was tagged as transgender." So yeah, YouTube has been on a tear with, this is the most basic thing. This isn't even about, we're not talking about genitals or anything. I don't think so. I think he might have mentioned some trans piercings in the video. I don't know. I'll find it and link it below when this, gets archived. I know he was saying that to me. I don't remember if that was in the video. But yeah, it was tagged as transgender, and this is the most benign trans video. It's about, it's about piercings. It's about piercings. I have a male chest. I legally have a male chest. It says so on my ID, and then what happened is, so I legally have a male chest. I, can be as topless as I want to be, as unfair as that is. Of course, that's a recent thing, too. During the Victorian, the male chest had to be covered. That was otherwise indecent, but, I want to say late 20s, it started changing in many jurisdictions. I think there are a few places where it's still technically on the books, but it's not enforced, so, which is funny, right? But no, I mean, legally I can be topless all over the state of Michigan, and, But no, they're just like, oh, it's tagged as transgender. It's a transgender thing. You're talking about it being a transgender thing, even though you're not talking about genitals. You know, you're not, showing, female nipples. Like, even when they're doing, like, they had this video of of an inverted nipple piercing, because apparently, I guess, a lot of surgeons who can do surgery to correct an inverted nipple. I don't see why it's something that necessarily needs to be fixed. I mean, maybe if you wanted to breastfeed, but I think there are some pumps that will pop it right. Like when you pump it, when you pump breast milk out of those, it'll like pull the nipple out. Though there may be some issues with getting a baby to latch. I think maybe, I don't know. It makes sense that there might be some issues with getting a baby to latch, especially like first newborn baby to latch onto an inverted nipple. But basically, pitch as something that they are not licensed medical professionals. Crap. I hope this all... Oh, it does look like it's going to stay. Really? Why do we have a bad connection? Why do we have a bad connection? That is... the say... Before... Oh, well... Going to get back to where I'm, like, watching my YouTube videos for partly as in the background to keep me in the zone, partly out of genuine interest in what these are. But okay, I talk to you. I don't know when I might do a video. I hope Nation's back online tomorrow, because tomorrow and to first big multi stream show, and so you can requests that, just shout obsessed at me, that's that's fine. It's business, so it's not like a time. So I'm gonna reconnect me